Below is a set of 100 questions and answers related to the responsibilities of a QA automation architect, tailored to the provided job description. The content is designed to stay within a 2000 word limit while covering the key aspects of the role comprehensively. Questions and answers. Automation frameworks. What is the primary responsibility of a QA automation architect? The primary responsibility is to create, implement, and maintain robust, scalable, and reusable automation frameworks to support testing efforts. Why should an automation framework be scalable? A scalable framework can adapt to growing project needs, such as adding new features or supporting larger test suites without requiring a complete redesign. What makes an automation framework reusable? A reusable framework includes modular components, standardized functions, and parameterized scripts that can be applied across multiple projects or test cases. How do you ensure an automation framework is robust? By incorporating error handling, logging, and recovery mechanisms, and by testing the framework itself under various conditions. How What tools might you use to build an automation framework? Open source tools like Selenium with TestNG or commercial tools like Tosca, UFT, or Test Complete can be used depending on project needs. How do you maintain an automation framework? Regularly update it to accommodate new features, fix bugs, and align with evolving technology or project requirements. What is the role of coding standards in automation frameworks? Coding standards ensure consistency, readability, and maintainability of test scripts across the team. How do you enforce coding standards? By conducting code reviews, using linting technology tools, and providing templates or guidelines for script development. What is the best practice for designing an automation framework? Following the page object model POM for Selenium to separate test logic from UI elements is a widely accepted best practice. Why is modularity important in an automation framework? Modularity allows individual components to be updated or replaced without affecting the entire framework. Tools and technical expertise. What is Selenium Java TestNG? It's an open source automation framework combining Selenium for browser automation, Java as the programming language, and TestNG for test management. Why is hands on experience with Selenium important? It ensures the architect can effectively design and troubleshoot frameworks using a widely adopted versatile tool. What is Tosca and how does it differ from Selenium? Tosca is a commercial automation tool with a model based approach, offering broader application support compared to Selenium's web focus. How does UFT support automation testing? Unified functional testing provides a GUI for creating and executing automated functional and regression tests across various platforms. What advantages does Test Complete offer? Test Complete supports multiple scripting languages and provides robust object recognition for desktop, web, and mobile applications. How do you choose between open source and commercial tools? Consider factors like budget, application type, team expertise, and required features, for example, reporting support. What is a common challenge with Selenium? Handling dynamic web elements or flaky tests due to timing issues can be challenging. How do you address flaky tests in Selenium? Implement explicit waits, retry mechanisms, and stable locators to reduce flakiness. What role does TestNG play in automation? TestNG provides features like parallel execution, test grouping, and detailed reporting to enhance test management. Can you integrate Selenium with other tools? Yes, it integrates with tools like Jenkins for CI/CD, Cucumber for BDD, and Extent Reports for reporting. Communication and collaboration. Why are strong communication skills essential for a QA automation architect? They enable effective collaboration with developers, testers, and stakeholders to align automation efforts with project goals. How do you communicate automation benefits to stakeholders? Highlight reduced testing time, improved accuracy, and cost savings with real world examples or metrics. What is your approach to assisting an agile team? Work closely with the team to define testable user stories and ensure technical robustness through automation. How do you ensure customer experiences are achieved? Design tests that validate key user journeys and performance metrics tied to customer expectations. How do you collaborate with development teams? Participate in sprint planning, share test results, and align automation with code changes. What's your strategy for working with operations teams? Ensure automation supports deployment pipelines and monitors production like environments. How do you handle disagreements on testing priorities? Facilitate discussions with data driven insights, focusing on customer impact and risk. How do you present automation results to non technical stakeholders? Use simple visuals like charts or dashboards and focus on business outcomes. What's an example of a communication tool you had used? Tools like Slack, Jira, or Confluence help streamline team communication and documentation. How do you ensure alignment with project goals? Regularly sync with project owners and review projects milestones to keep automation efforts on track. Continuous improvement and efficiency. What does promoting continuous improvement mean? It involves identifying inefficiencies, adopting new tools, and refining processes to enhance testing quality. How do you identify opportunities for efficiencies? Analyze test execution times, defect leakage rates, and manual effort to pinpoint bottlenecks. What's a way to reduce test cycle time? Implement parallel test execution using tools like Selenium Grid or cloud platforms. How do you maximize customer experience through testing? Focus automation on critical user paths and performance benchmarks that affect satisfaction. What's an example of a continuous improvement initiative? Upgrading from a basic framework to one with AI driven test maintenance. How do you measure efficiency gains? Track metrics like test coverage, execution time, and defect detection rate before and after improvements. What role does feedback play in improvement? Feedback from team members and stakeholders highlights practical issues and areas for enhancement. How do you stay proactive about inefficiencies? Regularly review automation reports and team workflows to catch issues early. What's a common inefficiency in test automation? Over reliance on brittle scripts that require frequent updates. How do you address script maintenance overhead? Use abstraction layers and reusable libraries to minimize rework. Mentoring and leadership. What's your role in mentoring team members? Guide them on automation best practices, tool usage, and problem solving techniques. How do you introduce new technologies to the team? Conduct workshops, share tutorials, and demonstrate benefits through pilot projects. What's a key best practice you had teach? Writing maintainable, data driven test scripts with clear documentation. How do you handle a team member struggling with automation? Provide one on one coaching, simplify tasks, and pair them with experienced peers? How do you foster a learning culture? Encourage experimentation, share industry articles, and celebrate successes. What's an example of a new technique in automation? Using AI tools to auto heal test scripts or predict failure points. How do you assess team skills? Review their code, discuss challenges, and evaluate their contributions to projects. What's a sign of a well mentored team? They independently solve issues and contribute to framework enhancements. How do you balance mentoring with your other duties? Schedule regular check ins and delegate tasks to maintain focus on architecture. Why is guidance on best practices important? It ensures consistency and quality across automation efforts. Mentoring and analysis. Why monitor monitoring and analysis? Why monitor test automation results? To ensure tests are reliable, accurate, and catch defects effectively. How do you analyze automation results? Review pass fail rates, logs, and execution trends to identify patterns or issues. What's a tool for monitoring test results? Extent reports or Allure can generate detailed visual test reports. How do you ensure result reliability? Cross check automated outcomes with manual tests periodically. What do you do if results show inconsistencies? Investigate root causes such as environment issues or script flaws and fix them. How do you report defects from automation? Log them in a tool like Jira with details on impact and reproduction steps. What's a metric for automation success? Percentage of defects found by automation versus manual testing. How do you prioritize defects? Work with product owners to assess impact on users and business goals. What's a sign of inaccurate test results? Frequent false positives or negatives that don't align with manual validation. How do you improve result accuracy? Refine test data, enhance assertions, and stabilize the test environment. Staying updated and documentation. How do you stay updated with automation trends? Follow blogs, attend webinars, and experiment with new tools like Playwright or Cypress. What's a recent advancement in test automation? The rise of AI powered testing tools for script generation and maintenance. Why is documentation important? It ensures team members can understand, use, and maintain the automation framework. What should framework documentation include? Architecture overview, setup instructions, and script examples. How do you keep documentation accessible? Store it in a shared repository like Confluence or Git with version control. What's a sequence? What's a consequence of outdated documentation? Team confusion, wasted time, and potential misuse of the framework. How often should documentation be updated? After every major framework change or tool update. What's a tool for managing documentation? Confluence or Markdown files in Git repositories work well. How do you review project documents? Check for clarity, alignment with testing goals, and feasibility of strategies. What feedback do you provide on test plans? Suggestions on scope, risks, and automation coverage. Testing strategy and execution. What's your role in creating a testing strategy? Define the automation scope, tools, and metrics to meet project objectives. How do you ensure a technically robust solution? Validate performance, security, and stability through targeted automated tests. What's a high performing test suite? One that executes quickly, covers critical areas, and provides reliable results. How do you promote continuous testing? Integrate automation into CI/CD pipelines for real-time feedback. What's benefit of continuous testing? Early defect detection reduces rework and speeds up delivery. How do you ensure timely test execution? Schedule tests in pipelines and optimize runtimes with parallelization. What's a stable test environment? One with consistent configurations and minimal external dependencies. How do you highlight hardware needs? Assess test volume and tool requirements to recommend resources. What's a software requirement you had specified? A compatible browser version or a specific Java runtime for Selenium. How do you support secure testing? Automate security checks like input validation or authentication flows. Practical scenarios. How do you handle tight project deadline? Prioritize critical tests, leverage existing scripts, and run them in parallel. What if a commercial tool license expires? Switch to an open source alternative temporarily while renewing the license. How do you onboard a new team member? Provide framework docs, a demo, and initial simple tasks. What if automation misses a critical defect? Analyze coverage gaps and enhance test cases accordingly. How do you deal with frequent UI changes? Use dynamic locators and update POM regularly. What if the team resists automation? Demonstrate its value with quick wins and address their concerns. How do you test a legacy system? Use tools like UFT that support older tech and focus on key workflows. What if test execution is too slow? Optimize scripts, reduce weights, and scale with cloud resources. How do you handle a flaky environment? Add retries, stabilize configs, and isolate tests. What if stakeholders demand 100% automation? Explain feasibility limits and focus on high return on investment areas. Final questions. What's a key deliverable as a QA automation architect? A well documented, efficient automation framework. How do you measure your success? By reduced test cycle time and higher defect detection rates. What's a challenge you anticipate? Balancing innovation with stability in fast paced projects. How do you ensure stakeholder satisfaction? Deliver reliable automation that meets their quality goals. What's a personal goal in this role? To mentor a self sufficient automation team. How do you handle tool limitations? Supplement with custom scripts or alternative tools. What's a sign of a mature automation practice? High test coverage with minimal maintenance effort. How do you adopt to new project types? Assess requirements and tailor the framework accordingly. What motivates you in this role? Driving quality and efficiency through innovative automation. What's your vision for automation in 5 years? a fully AI integrated practice with self-healing tests and predictive analysis. Thank you so much for listening.